Hello everyone, this is Vapors True here. I'm doing this little video to show everybody how I tune my drift cars. But I know a lot of people have asked me questions about, oh, what kind of car should I get? What's the best car? But the only thing I can say about that is pick a car that you enjoy driving. I mean, just pick a car that you basically like the best. But let me get started here. I'm going to choose me a car, which I'm going to get, actually make a surprise for y'all, Nissan S14. So now that I got the car, what to do first? Most time when I do these, when I build drift cars, I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of base it off what I would maybe build in real life. I mean, I don't go like all out with a gazillion horsepower or very little horsepower. I just do something what I would want to build in real life. That's what I would do. So start off anywhere. Suspension is the main thing that you need. I mean, you can do sports brakes, but I do recommend race brakes. On these, I mean, all race. It's common sense, pretty much. Unless you want to get technical with the anti-roll bars. I like running race cages because, like in real life, if I had a drift car, I would like to be extremely safe doing it. Weight reductions. Most people would choose race weight. But me, in game, it just looks cooler because it looks cooler running sports weight reduction because it leaves two seats in the car, or in the front at least. And then for like drivetrain, I mean, you can get away with sport transmission, but I'm gonna go with race for this build, and race differential makes it a lot easier. You don't gotta have this right here. I'm gonna put a sport on there. Clutch. I'll go with a street clutch. Tires. I know a lot of people say a lot of different things about tires, but personally, I enjoy about street or sport. I mean, this depends. I mean, like, better tire you get, more speed you can drift at. Less grip. I mean, it's a lot easier to start drifting. But for this, I'm going to do street tires. But if I was like doing some kind of tournament or something like that allowed you want to be good control of your car, I mean, you might want to go with sport tires. And width, I mean, just really depends on what you're looking for. But I'm going to go on this one, the 225 width. And on the rear, I'm going to go with the 245 width. And the rims, I mean, don't really matter what rims you get. Just pick some you like or might look good on the car. Kind of like these on a lot of my cars. Rim upgrades. I mean, it does play a big role. I mean, it's something I'd experiment with, but normally 17, 16s. I wouldn't go no higher than 18 inches on those, but I'm going to do 17 front and rear. Aero, I mean, some people enjoy running Forza Aero, but me, I'm not really into Forza. I mean, you can just run nothing if you really want to. But I'm going to put the Ings front bumper on it. Same thing about the rear Forza Aero. I mean, some people run it, but I don't. Wing wise, I mean, kind of wish I had the options with nothing on there. Of course, you can just get, I'm just going to run stock one on that. Rear bumper, I mean, just pick what you want, but I'm going to go with Ings. Actually, what's the West look like? I'll just do an Ings car, how about that? Did I get the hood? No, okay, I don't got a hood. And there I go, backing out too far. Okay, back it now to the horsepower. Actually, wait, before I go to horsepower. You can do all dry spot. Personally, I can't drift all wheel. If you can, good for you. I have no strong hard feelings about people drifting it, but I just per rule because I can't drift all wheel. Engines, I mean, both of these engines, they're good, decent engines. Personally, I like that one. I got this engine in my, I think, S13, if I'm not mistaken. And that's my competition car, but for this build, I'm going to just leave the stock engine. Okay, parts, what I usually do. I mean, truthfully, I don't like turbos. I mean, I'm going to keep my turbo stock in this case, but I will do about a sports displacement with this build, and do like a little extra RPM, but I'm not going to go full race RPM. I'm going to go there. This is all. I mean, something that you might build, what you might want to build in real life, and keep in mind, watch your horsepower and how much you have there, but I'm just going to go with a sport exhaust. I mean, that's a full open exhaust there. Most of the time, those ain't legal. I know not in the U.S. So, but race condition, I mean, spark plug wire is good enough. Fuel management, I mean, if I was going to do a car myself, I mean, I wouldn't mind having all the stuff in a race. I mean, race air filter, you're going to have, if you got a turbo on it, you're going to have a good air filter and stuff. Race intercooler, definitely. Oil, I mean, really don't matter about oil. And, I don't know, I might go with sport flywheel for this one. Go with race piston. There's nothing bad about, especially if you're running turbo in a car, you need something pretty stout. And if you do remember, if you got cams in it in real life, I mean, you want to upgrade the valve train. I mean, do sport valve train there. And that's pretty much all I can really put on there. But I got 405 horsepower, 357 pounds of torque, and the car weighs 2,662 pounds. I mean, it's not too bad, but I mean, it's doable. I mean, you're not going to be going to D1 drifting with something like this, but I mean, it is possible. I mean, there's a few people out there that runs really low horsepower. But next trick, or next thing I do, like setting up the car, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, they just go straight in and start moving stuff around right here. And I normally don't do that. And I know a lot of people does not do what I do, but I kind of set my cars up like track cars, circuit racing. But good track to do that on is Nürburgring. I mean, when I do it, it's like I drift with the steering wheel, but right now during the video I'm using the controller to show everything. But I use the drift simulation, but I'm going to set the car up with normal traction, stability off. I'm going to do manual clutch, and I'm going to have it on cosmetic damage. But I try to set my cars up and basically like a kind of like a track car. Well, then I know in drifting, I mean, the point is being the fastest around a turn, or unless you're points drifting, which that's a lot different than what I'm doing here. And I'm gonna pause it, make it quiet. Where was I? I don't remember. But setting these up kind of like a track car, and having well, actually, I remember where I was at now. Basically, when you set them up like a track car for drifting, I mean, it helps you can kind of like go faster while you're drifting around the turns. I mean, I really don't know too much how to explain it, but it's just what I do. And I mean, there's a bunch of, if you don't know how to tune circuit, or if you don't know how to tune drift, I mean, on the Forza Motorsport 4 forums, I mean, the tuning area, I know, in the drift lounge as well, there's good tutorials on how to tune drift cars. But here I go, I'm going to start going on here. I might go quiet here for a few minutes, but just trying to get a feel of the car. Once I hit the first turn and stuff. I mean, I can feel with the car now. It feels pretty good. I mean, it has like a rear roll to it that's doing that. I mean, it got good speed. I mean, plenty of power. Okay, I definitely know it understeers because I was going under the speed which that turn should have been took. So now, kind of feel like the springs were too stiff as well. I know drifting, I mean, or any, not really just drifting, but just remember one thing, softer you got your rear spring, more grip you want to give the rear, but it's going to mess with the front some. I mean, there's tuning guides you can look at for all that, but I'm just showing what I kind of do. Also, I will lower the car all the way, and it depends on what track you're drifting at on your ride height when I get later on to this. But say this right here, what was the car, like 52%? I mean, you look at your front weight, you kind of want these, like I kind of tend to move the bump stiffness a little bit down, softer than what they are originally. I just kind of guesstimate a little bit, and then like these, like I know the car's understeering some. I can raise that, which that will give me with raising the rear bump rebound does make the back slide a little bit more, and softening that makes it turn in a little bit more there. But springs, like I said, those are a little bit too soft, and I want. I said no, they're about right. And anti-roll bars. Anti-roll bar is one of the biggest things on how to set up a drift car. And the alignment. But for now, I'm just going to set the alignment to what I normally do when I circuit race. But go a little bit more around the track and see how it feels then. Another thing, keep in mind, when you're tuning like this, remember when you first start out like this, your tires are cold. And most people say that cold tires don't play too big of an effect, but I feel that they do. So, try to get your tires heated before you start messing with the tuning. I mean, you might take a few laps or something. Right now, I actually have a decent amount of the understeer. I mean, it's not too much. I know driving is pretty poor right now. But the car kind of feels balanced a little bit. I mean, you can pull up your telemetry. I like to look at the tire pressures and tire temps, make sure they're even. And then the heat from the front door. Actually, right now, while I got it set up, it is pretty much all four tires are equal. I mean, there's a few degrees. I mean, you want them in a range of about 10 degrees and you're fine. And how that looks, that's pretty good. But now, I'm going to just the differential of the way I set it up for drifting, not necessarily how I set it up for circuit racing. I kind of put the Excel, most people they keep it like 75, 75 that I've seen. I like to bump it up about 80 to about 80 or to 90. And the decel is like I'm the type of person when I'm drifting, I let off. When I drift, when I let off the gas, to me it feels like the back end comes back around when it sets a little bit lower, but that's a little, I don't want to get too much detail about actually how to tune the car. I mean, just kind of do this video about how I set my cars up. But I'm going to quit out here. Okay, back here. Okay, what am I doing? I'm going, okay. So, now I'm actually trying to set the car up for kind of drifting. to say. But first off, I got these settings, my camera and tow settings. I mean, a lot of people, they run 0 tow when they set their car up. I mean, it's perfectly fine to run that, but like your camber, or camber, whatever you want to call it, all you kind of want it to be, I mean, it takes time to actually get it perfectly. I'm not going to show all the tedious little details in doing this. And, I mean, when you're drifting, you got your wheel turn, like your counter steering, and if you look at the telemetry, you kind of want your tire temperatures like the same all the way through. I mean, where you can get like max grip with your tires. Like when you're at your wheels, like turn counter steering, you're drifting, and you look at your telemetry. I mean, you can save a replay, go back after you do a few passes or whatever, you go look at your telemetry and look at your like your tire temps, and you can kind of adjust these, like your camber, so they're actually kind of equal across the tire. But I like to start about negative 3.0 there, and the rear, you got those a little bit straighter up and give you a little more grip on the rear, instead of just having it, if you have it like say negative 5.0, you're going to have a little tire touching the ground, so it's going to make your car lose grip a little bit easier. But me, I like having a lot of grip in the rear, but when I do that, I can compensate with the understeer, so it makes the back end oversteer, but that's a bunch different. But still keep that at 7.0. I know a lot of people does not move your toe, but I do. I usually start about 1.8 in the front and negative 0.3 in the rear. Usually the rear, I don't change it much more than what that right there is. In gearing, I'll start adjusting that as I get on the track, and you kind of want to set that up to the track. But most time you want, most tracks you sometimes run second, third, maybe some of the longer tracks with higher speeds you might make it the fourth. But in tire pressure, mine's like 30-30, or unless I absolutely cannot get the back of the car to slide out, and then I might raise the rear up to maybe like 40 or something. But now I'm just gonna leave it at 30%. But now I'm gonna hook my wheel up and move the camera, so everybody just stay tuned. Okay, now since I got my wheel hooked up, I'm gonna go and choose a track that I know really well. I mean, a lot of people, they go to Fujimi now, but for me, I'm gonna go to a track that I can drift decently, which I'm gonna go to Scuba Short, and make sure all this, we'll put on simulation steering now, and everything like it was before. Turn around. Okay, I drift in cockpit view. I know other people, they drift other views and everything, but now I'm going to focus on like trying to set my gearing up. That's what I do, set my gear up. But actually before that, I'm just going to like drive the car backwards on the track, get a kind of feel of it, see how it feels. Not really drifting too much. I can tell the gearing's a little bit long for my liking. I mean, I can't really get when I press the power down, it takes a lot for the back tires to spin up. So, now, since I've figured that, I'm going to have to shorten, actually before I do that, no, I might change it. I'm just going to move the final drive. I'm going to have third about on the line that says 101 right there. I'm going to go get it. And right now I don't feel too bad. I'm having to floor it all the way. Okay, it's drifting pretty well here. I mean, a little more practice, but I'm going to raise the tire pressure on the rear slightly to about 37 psi. And the gearing, it feels alright. The alignment, I mean, there's no weird twitchiness in the wheel of the car. I mean, that feels decently. And to our roll bars, I don't know, I really can't say much to those. I really don't adjust those too much when I set the cars up. I mean, when I go and start fine-tuning the car, I might move them slightly around. But besides that, nothing else is going to be changed. I mean, some people likes their brake pressure really high. Some people likes their front force to the front or more to the rear. But I want to just keep everything like it is there for now. And I'm going to change tracks and go to Fujimi real quick and see what I can do on the downhill, see how it feels there. Of course, how I raise the rear tire pressure, it is going to make the car oversteer quite a bit more, but I think we should be okay here. Do the new downhill for now. Okay, we're here on the downhill. So basically try to do a good run. See how I did. Gearing is still slightly too long. I think it'll be okay. I mean, once I get used to this car a little bit more. Or you could go and maybe add a tad bit more power, which will make it a little bit better. You don't have to shorten the gears too much more. I mean, the car, it has good control. It goes where I want it to go. So, I guess that's about how I tune my drift cars. I mean, I know I did this pretty quickly, but most people, I mean, I might spend about 30 more minutes or so off video on getting all the tweaks worked out. But yeah, that's really all I do, how I set my drift cars up. But if there's any questions anybody wants to ask, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. And I was thinking about another video actually doing some pointers on when I first started drifting with this Microsoft wheel, how I learned how to do it. I mean, just simple little tricks that you might not really think that it's really big to help, but it helped me a ton from going from controller to this wheel, in which you could probably use the same tricks with a steering wheel that has a greater turning ratio. But again, this vapor's true. My tutorial video. See y'all next time.